What is going on, everybody? Welcome back here to the channel. I'm Sean Davis, and do the Lakers have a tough decision to make with Austin Reaves this summer? And could this honestly be a potential reason why they look to trade Austin Reaves? Make sure you hit the thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel. Tomorrow night, we'll be live here on the channel, starting to preview what the offseason can look like for the Lakers and how this team could potentially look to get better. And let's start things off with Austin Reaves. And Austin Reaves is coming off of a breakout season for the Lakers, averaging 20 points per game this season for the Lakers, 20.2 points per game, 5 point, we'll just round up. I don't feel like doing the points. 20 points, 5 boards, 6 assists so far this on the year for Austin Reaves, excuse me. And one of the biggest talking points regarding Austin Reaves is his fit long-term, specifically next to Luka Doncic. And they have a big decision to make this summer regarding Austin Reaves, because Austin Reaves is on one of the best contracts in the entire NBA. 4-year, $53.8 million contract that Austin Reaves signed to. But with the way Austin Reaves has performed, they might be in a tough situation, because he's extension eligible this summer. The maximum extension that the Lakers can offer Austin Reaves is a 4-year, $89.2 million contract. And the reason being is because the first year salary, which would be $19.9 million, is 140% of the average player salary, which is the maximum allowed under the current CBA. But if Austin Reaves, decides against the opportunity to sign an extension this summer with the Lakers, then that opens him up to potentially being able to sign an extension next summer with the Lakers, which would take up 25% of the team salary cap, and his first year would be making around $40 million. So you're looking at a big jump, rather, for Austin Reaves from a contract standpoint. Like I said, he's extension eligible this summer, going into the final year before a player option, where he'll make $13.9 million next season. 2026-27 summer, $14.9 million player option, which we expect him to opt out of, and either A, have a contract already signed by then, or B, opt out and become an unrestricted free agent in the summer of 26-27. So let's kind of, like, in this scenario, like, what do the Lakers do with Austin Reaves? Because from Austin Reaves' side of things, you can legitimately make the case and make the argument that Austin Reaves deserves to kind of wait this thing out and see kind of how this goes, because of how this season how this season went for AR. Like I said, 25-6 effect, basically for AR this season, if we're rounding up and giving him some grace. And even in the playoffs for AR this season, by the way, 61% true shooting for Austin Reaves this season. Even if we look at the playoffs, where Austin Reaves was incredibly banged up this playoff run, he was dealing with essentially the same toe injury that Darius Garland's dealing with, that Darius Garland has sat out for 4 games now in the playoffs, and is pending and potentially missing out game 3 of a series where the Cavs are down 3-0. Austin Reaves tried to play through that same injury, and he still, regardless, even though AR did not have a, to his standards, a particularly great playoff run, Austin Reaves in the playoffs this year still averaged 16 points, 5 boards, 4 assists. And while the argument in the moment was that Austin Reaves wasn't playing well due to the size and kind of the physicality that I think Minnesota was able to present him with him being guarded by Anthony Edwards or Nickeil Alexander-Walker, Jaden McDaniels, or Dante DiVincenzo had a really good defensive playoff series, or just a plethora of options that the Wolves were able to throw at him. While that did potentially impact Austin Reaves as a playoff scorer, he was still able to get his buckets, still able to average 16 and be somewhat of a third reliable option for the Lakers. He just couldn't hit anything from 3, which, if you want to have some concern about Austin Reaves, is the reliability of the 3 ball for Reaves. I think he is still this efficient 2-point scorer. I think if you look at this year and last season in the playoffs, he's shooting 60% from 2 in the playoffs these past 2 seasons. But in the past 2 seasons, by the way, on 6 attempts from 2 per game, in the past 2 playoffs, 10-game sample size, he's shooting 30% from 3 on 7 attempts per game. So that is something that if you want to have some pause or concern about with Austin Reaves, while also not being, and he had a good regular season playmaking like profile. Regardless of how good of a playmaker he was in the regular season, he's still not this elite playmaker all the way. So you combine that with the fact that he has had back-to-back playoff runs where he didn't shoot particularly well from three. Okay, that wants to be your concern, sure. I still think that Austin Reaves, and this is where this is why it gets tricky when talking about Reaves and his contract and the trade situation with Reaves. I don't like the idea of trading Austin Reaves on this current iteration of the Lakers, because if you trade Austin Reaves, you are now over an 82 game sample. You are begging a lot out of LeBron James, who will be going to age 41 season. And you want somebody that can, at least for 82 games, kind of ease the load for LeBron, where I think, like, legitimately now, I think LeBron's kind of ready for that role. I think we saw that post Luka trade and when Luka's really getting acclimated to the system. And I think we even saw that like post D'Lo trade, even how much LeBron kind of delegated the offensive responsibilities to Austin over that stretch until Luka arrived. So I don't want to trade that 82 game option and then still somewhat reliable third option in the playoffs. I don't want to trade that right away for example, I've seen a billion trade scenarios where the Lakers trade Austin Reaves for Herb Jones, for example, which 5 years ago, my answer would be hell yeah, because 5 years ago, Bron's 36, 35 or whatever, still playing at peak form and could still carry a significant 82 game offensive load and also still be your like top two playoff option. Like, can you imagine 2020 LeBron on this team? Then yes, that trade makes significantly more sense. But with this current iteration of the Lakers, it doesn't make a lot of sense to go trade Austin Reaves for elite two-way role player, in my opinion, at least, or two-way role player, or really 3-and-D role player specialist, essentially. It just doesn't make sense to do that. Now, this is where it potentially gets dangerous talking about Austin Reaves, because if you don't trade AR, and let's say Austin Reaves declines not to sign an extension this summer, because the Lakers, I don't know the exact first opportunity they can to give AR that 4-year, $89 million deal. I don't know when their first chance is, but whenever it is, like, they need to be at Austin Reaves' doorstep with the contract in hand, because then that just rolls off the tongue so much better than paying AR, for 160 or whatever the amount would be. Especially we add on the fact that Luka Doncic is also in the conversation of getting a massive extension on his side of the fence as well. He's eligible to sign a 4-year, $229 million extension on August 2nd. It's possible that he doesn't do that. He doesn't sign that contract. And as a matter of fact, it's possible that Luka Doncic, as opposed to signing the 4-year, $200+ million maximum contract, it is possible he signs a 3-year, $165 max contract that would have a player option in the third year and allows him to re-up and get a bigger deal somewhat on the scale of what he was up for in Dallas. So now we're talking about paying Austin and Luka this absurd amount of money. It kind of binds your team's, roster construction and makes things really, really tough for you. So I'm just saying this to say it's going to be interesting to see what the Lakers do with Austin Reaves this summer, because again, he has absolutely earned the right to like kind of wait this thing out and not have to make a decision and not sign the extension and see if he can get something bigger than that. Because I think there are a lot of teams in the league that will take Austin Reaves. And also really, really quickly, before I get to like the benefit of the doubt for Austin, even though I will admittedly say that, like, God, paying Austin Reaves $40 million does not sound like it's not the sexiest thing in the world. Bradley Beal gets $50 million, or if we go to the 26-27, which is the year that we're talking about, Bradley Beal will be making $57 million on a Y spot track. I guess Paul George is listed as a 2. Paul George, $54 million. Jamal Murray, $50 million. Zach LaVine, $48 million. Desmond Bane, $39 million. Jalen Green, $36 million. Some of those players, not like Jalen Green or whatever, and that's just unnecessary Jalen Green slander, but a lot of those guys I just named, I think AR is either better than or on their level of players, especially like Paul George. He's better than Paul George at this point. But I think a lot of those other names, like, he's at the very least comparable to. that's the one thing about the Reaves extension and why Reaves potentially waiting it out is honestly justifiable because, I mean, hell, DeJounte Murray, $33 million. Emmanuel Quickly, $32 million. Like, Reaves can very well look at the lay of the land in terms of the guard market and say, dog, you cannot convince me that I am not better than XYZ player who's getting paid XYZ money. And that's why I think, again, he has earned the benefit of the doubt to kind of wait things out. Would it have been better and you let the more of a fruitful taste in everybody's mouth, if that makes sense? Maybe a really, really awful way of wording that. But sure, yes, it would have been awesome if Austin Reaves went out there against Minnesota and kind of validated his regular season performance with a fantastic playoff run. He played hurt, and that sounds like an excuse, but it was legitimate. So it's gonna be interesting, I think, how the Lakers kind of play things out with Austin Reaves and see, because you don't want to lose him for nothing, but at the same time, you have to like come to grips with the fact that you're going to be paying him $42+ million for a 4-year stretch. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Is Austin Reaves worth this money? Let me know. Follow me on X/Twitter at Sean_DAVI. I'll be live here on the channel tomorrow night, breaking down kind of an off-season preview for this Lakers team. So I appreciate you guys. Stay safe as always. Go Lake Show. Catch you guys next time. Peace out.